We are live. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Late Night Green. We are doing an interview series tonight, so welcome back. And I'm here solo tonight, so you guys are getting, I hope it's a good treat, but yeah, I'm solo. Mr. Todd is back from his vacation. I know he's watching right now, but he couldn't, he was supposed to come in on remote tonight, and he was not able to get it done, so we got to give him one of them. So that's for you, Mr. Todd, the Todd father. But he had a trip, and we weren't going to go over that tonight. We're going to go over that on Thursday, but we got some pictures and some videos, and he got some stories, so we'll go over that on Thursday on the late night show. But tonight we are going to learn something about something tonight, and I'm super excited to have my guest here on tonight. I've recently become aware of her, and though I don't know a whole lot about this particular topic, we are going to learn something here tonight. So without wasting any further time, and without you guys having to just listen to me, let me introduce Abi Wright. She is a cannastrologer. Welcome,
Yes,
welcome, Abi, to the show. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you so much for having me, and
Well,
very excited to be here.
awesome. I'm going to ask the control room to just lower her volume just a hair. But it's really close to being good, and she was peaking a little bit. So, Abby, welcome to the show. Sorry we're a little bit late tonight. We were trying to get the Todd father on, and he couldn't get on as well as you could get on. So, kudos to you. Evidently, you're more connected with the universe than he is. And so I'm assuming, I'm assuming that's what allowed you to get on to the link that we gave you. But nonetheless, welcome to the show. And I guess let's get right out of the gate. And what is a cannastrologer? Let's start with that.
Great question. The Cannastrologer, it's a name that I gave myself. I needed to figure out a brand name. I once I came out of the closet, or the tarot closet, if you will. I have been studying astrology and tarot, and just the esoteric. It started when I was like 13 years old, but then I started using cannabis when I was 15 years old, cannabis and plant medicine. And then, long story short, using cannabis throughout my life, I landed in the cannabis industry. In 2018, I launched the Cannastrologer because it was putting two of my favorite things into one. I've always said that cannabis and plant medicine is my tool for higher enlightenment.
Hmm.
And so it just, naturally made sense to kind of combine it and put it together.
Excellent. That is pretty awesome. So when did this all start? Let's give a little timeline for everybody. You've been doing this how long? And when did the two parts?
So, I,
The weed part probably was for a while, right? So when when did it merge?
I have been using cannabis, like I said, since I was 15, and little did I know that it was, from like most people who use cannabis because it makes you feel good. It wasn't until I was working in the industry. I was 37 years old at the time and was late diagnosed with autism and ADHD. As soon as I found that out, I realized very quickly that's where my hyper focus and hyper fixation in astrology and tarot and the esoteric arts came from. And so I've been doing that my entire life. And then I didn't professionally enter the cannabis game until 2017, technically 2018, when I started with Cincy Magazine, Cincy Media, which
Oh,
they're no longer. But that was my first professional inlet into the industry, and just have bounced around ever since until I, officially launched my brand, and that's what I focus on predominantly for the most part now.
okay, cool. So tell us about your brand. Your brand is the Cannastrologer, correct?
Yes.
All right. So tell us what do well, you know what? Before you tell me what you do, why don't we just take a deeper dive into what is this? I guess bring it to us from an amateur's perspective, and
Sure.
guide me through that.
So astrology and tarot are two separate things, but they work together under the umbrella of like, spirituality, esoteric arts. Astrology is one of the oldest, I say sciences, but many people argue that in the world. It's what people used to be able before before the Bible, before any of that. That's what people used to you know make decisions and make decisions specifically for themselves. Because what astrology actually is it's the weather and the alignments and the way that things work, which kind of pull together the um, the energy in which you're operating under, and that determines how your day goes. When a person is born, the reason we have our birth certificates, and the reason they put those the exact time and the location and all that information, you use that information, you can actually grid, like map out your natal chart or your birth chart. And everybody's natal chart and birth chart is completely different from the next. It's kind of like your astrological thumbprint.
Okay.
Everybody's is different. And that natal chart makes up and will show someone like me what the general characteristics and personalities and different, things that may happen in a person's life. Okay. And that's just based around the astrology of everything. Now, tarot is different. Tarot is strictly just using the energy of, the universe, and using cards as a divination tool. And I'm able to decipher messages sent from spirit through the cards, and to uncannily accurate, you know, uh, way of doing so. And so it's just something that I found that I had a gift. And like I said, it's been a hyperfixation my entire life. And so my main point behind being the Cannastrologer and using this is to help ground people, to help people learn more about themselves. And I know for me personally, getting into astrology and spirituality, meditation, all of that, it's really helped me um, focus, for the most part, especially not knowing for most of my life that I was autistic and ADHD, and then finding out, later in life that I was.
When did you find out?
It made When I was 37, I was working in the cannabis industry, and I was just, I smoke a lot of weed and use, plant medicine, and nothing was different except for I was working super hard and on a project, or I forget what it was, but was working with a friend, and I couldn't focus. I was having trouble focusing. And so he had given me a little piece of Adderall that he uses. And I know, you're not supposed to use other people's medication, but he said, you seem like you need this. I tried it and it worked the way it was supposed to. And so that scared me, because I don't use over the counter prescription medicines and stuff like that as much as possible. So I went to the doctor and told them I have interest in learning more about this because I think I need help, focusing. He sent me to another doctor that sent me to was a specialist that sent me to a neurologist, series of tests, and then diagnosis. It's autism and ADHD. And then when he talked to me, he said, "How have you been surviving this entire time? Because you're clearly on the spectrum."
Wow.
And I said, "Surviving," because he used that word. Yeah. And I said, "Surviving?" I was like, "Wow, well, cannabis, can you talk to me about that?" Because he knew that I worked in the industry. And he said, "I can't talk to you about that." And I said, "Why not?" And he said, "Because we haven't been trained in that type of medicine." And I was like, "You know what?
Interesting.
That's actually a really fair answer. That's a fair
It's an
answer."
honest answer.
It's an honest, yeah, you're right. It's an
It's
honest
an
answer,
honest,
not fair.
and
But
there's some ethics to it, right? I think it's an
sure, that,
ethical.
he's not being paid by the insurance companies. But um, that said, though, I had to take his, prescriptions in order to accept the diagnosis, which to me was weird. 'Cause, 'cause, he was, you know, he was not being paid by the insurance companies. But that said, though, I had to take his prescriptions in order to accept the diagnosis, which to me was weird. 'Cause, he was, you know, he was not being paid by the insurance companies. But But I left that office. I called my mom, told her my diagnosis, cried for about an hour, and then went and started, contacting the people I needed to officially get my medical card. So up until that point, I didn't see a need for it, just being a recreational user in the industry. But after that point, I immediately knew that I was going to have to show up as a medical advocate as well, because I was already in the game, already, spreading education and wisdom and advocating for the plant itself. But now I'm an actual medical patient and medical advocate. And ever since then, from that point, it changed my life. So I've just been trying to do the good work ever since.
Interesting. And that's kind of interesting. So, what did you do in the, if I may ask, what did you do in the cannabis? Did you work at a dispensary, or tell me what you did?
No, so I started with a company called Cincy Media. It's a magazine. It was a magazine company, media company, and specifically for cannabis lifestyle. Um, it eventually kind of transitioned to all encapsulating plant medicine at the end of its realm or run. But I started as just like a sales rep, and I kind of worked my way up to market director and publisher for the Nevada state of Nevada. But we had markets all over the country, and so I worked with people all over the country, all kinds of different brands. I've made connections around the world, and it's that in itself, getting into cannabis that way was really amazing, because it wasn't like working in a dispensary where you're plant touching all the time, or working in a grow. But the cool thing about media is that, people wanted us to see all of those different niches within the industry. And so I've been through all kinds of grows, learning, about operations. I've been inside of all kinds of dispensaries, seeing how they work. And then you get to work with all kinds of products and brands, and it was a really amazing experience. And then we're really well known for our events, and so we threw a lot of events, and that's the fun part of the cannabis industry.
Yeah, it is
And
fun. That is the fun part.
especially I'm 100%. But I'm based here in Las
I've been in
Vegas,
some
and
good
so
parties, Abby. I've been to some good cannabis parties, especially out
heck yeah,
west. Hell yes, there've been
yes,
some
there
mansion
are great parties.
parties. We did the Dab
Yep.
Castle out there. Oh my goodness, there was a lot of stuff we've done.
Was was that in California? You
Dab
guys did
Castle,
that?
the Dab Castle was in Vegas.
Oh, okay. When was that?
We did the Dab Castle was like in, I want to say like 2018,
I feel like I
2017.
remember it, but there's been so many parties here.
So many good ones,
I mean, it's
right?
Vegas.
Are
Yeah,
you in
it's
Vegas
Vegas,
too?
and that's
Oh,
what,
you were in Vegas as well.
yes,
So this was like an
yes,
hour. This was like an hour north of the city, up in the hills, and
oh,
it was a
okay.
private house, and they called it the
Yep.
Dab Castle. There was a pool inside the house, a full size swimming pool inside the house that was drained out. People were like in it, hanging out. It was nuts.
That's amazing.
We
Well,
broadcasted
I
from
did
there
not make
actually.
that one, but I've made a lot of others.
S- but listen, the parties in this industry are freaking second to none. They're damn good. Good, 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 good.
They're getting better and better. And the coolest thing is now I'm getting to experience more events across the country, not just here local to Nevada or California or even Arizona. And I've been up to many events up in Colorado as well. But now it's been exciting. I get to travel to places like New York. I just recently got to go to for the first time, and was reading as the Cannastrologer for an event at, it was like a content house outside, or combined or paired with Revelry, the
Hmm.
cannabis trade show Revelry. And that was an amazing event. Really cool show. I loved Revelry. Loved
Where
Revelry.
was it?
Amazing. There. I'm sorry.
Where was it?
That
Wh-
that one was in Hudson, and then I know that they've got another show coming up. I believe it's in September, and that's going to be in the city.
Okay.
But the people, all kinds of new brands, and just being able to see a market firsthand that we've been watching from afar, kind of develop and, we've been watching all of their, um, I don't know why I'm blanking on the word right now, but their laws and regulations and things like that. And to be able to go out there and experience and celebrate with everybody in the community was just so, so special. And the weather was beautiful. The people were great. And then the content house that I was brought out to read for, that was even more amazing because it's kind of like an after party or after event, but it's where brands were coming in and you get to see in a house or a home setting how cannabis is incorporated into all parts of a person's lifestyle. And that's where we would go and hang out, after the event. And some people got to stay there. And then there was a chef that, was cooking us medicated meals. And
Oh, that's
it
fantastic.
was the best way to travel to any kind of an event is to do it through a content house with the canna joint.
Well, listen, you're gonna have to tell me about the next one of those that comes around, and I'll have to come and meet you and
Oh,
do this. Yeah, I
most
need.
definitely. And I have to also shout out the Canna Boss Babes with that one as well. And Rogue 420 Media. They were all collaborating on it and just the best group of women and men too. There's men involved in that as well, but really, it's very special. And
That's
they are
fantastic.
going to be doing another one. And they do, I believe they're going to be doing content houses, across the country at some of the other events too. So definitely check back for more
Yeah, and
information.
also, so you guys know, Cannabis Babes will be in studio virtually on the 12th. So we'll be doing an interview with Cannabis Babes. So
I love it.
glad you gave me that segue. I appreciate that. So I want to take a step back to what you were saying earlier, and then obviously I want to know more about your business today and what it looks like and all of that. But before we even go there, and I someone told me you're going to do a reading for us tonight too, possibly, right?
Yeah.
All right, so
Yeah.
if all works well, I got someone coming for that. So,
Okay.
otherwise, you're going to do a reading on me. But so let's go back and talk about the astrology part of it because though I'm not a huge believer in that, I've seen enough of it to believe that certain people born in certain times of the year carry various
Hmm.
characteristics that are similar to other people. So, like, I will go that far,
Yeah.
and I've read enough about it to know that there's interesting accuracies with it as the kind of
Yeah.
the more you look into it. Now on the other side, on the tarot side, I know
Hmm.
absolutely zilch about. I don't know anything about it. I've seen it. I've seen the cards. And I don't. It doesn't mean anything to me. I don't understand it. So
Right.
how did you blend them together? I guess that's what everybody really wants to know because they want to know what is Cannastrology. And I think that's the intersection, right? It's the intersection where you took
Yeah.
these two avenues of your life and you blended those together. And I guess my question is okay, you explained how you got there, but what is it? Tell me what it is.
So that's a really interesting question, and especially coming from somebody who doesn't exactly know, but to bring that up is it's a smart question
Oh, thank you.
because you're so welcome.
Yeah.
There are in the world of tarot, there are a lot of tarot readers who do not know anything about astrology. And then in astrology, there are a lot of astrologers who don't know a lick of tarot. But then you've got this weird medium of people in between who know a little bit of both. And that's where I fall. And when you ask, how did I learn to blend them together? My honest to God answer is I have no idea. Um, it's just it's just the way that I learned, like the way that I learned it. I was just, when you get into a rabbit hole with, some form of information, when you get interested in something,
Hmm.
that rabbit hole for me started when I was like 13 years old. So I've just been researching tarot and astrology and esoteric arts and all the things for all that time. And it just started like kind of, I guess, clicking and connecting dots and making sense as to how they overlap. And so now when I do my readings, I'll explain the cards and I explain, what that means and why it means it most of the time, right? But then part of that explanation is also me trying to explain the astrology portion of it as well. So I do try to educate, the people that are getting readings from me. Um, but then to confuse everybody a little further, then there's something called intuitive reading, and that's where you don't necessarily even have to follow the actual definitions of the cards because it's just what the cards are telling you intuitively. And
You're okay.
did we lose?
No,
Oh, okay. I was going to say
no, we
I
just
I
see.
lost
I'll
somehow.
explain it to everybody. We were having some technical issues, so we were stuck on that one camera shot, this camera shot for a while. And
Gotcha.
typically, we would be moving the camera around in a normal production, but we're having a few issues tonight, and so that's why we're on this camera a lot. But it does switch around, so you're good. We're all good.
Perfect.
But I guess
Well,
I
I was
guess
pretty
while
much done what I was saying.
I guess while I'm talking, so it's the areas of overlap. Is it really where you saw the areas of tarot and areas of astrology that have overlap? Did that create why you would put those together? And then where does weed come into this whole thing? Because that's where we're interested. That's the part we're interested in.
The easiest explanation to where, cannabis comes into my practice is the fact that, again, I've used cannabis since I was 15 years old. And once I started using cannabis, but also practicing my spirituality, and honestly, it's just like anytime I use cannabis, I feel a deeper connection with spirit. And when I'm using cannabis in my cards, I get like better connections from spirit. It's just that's the easiest way for me to put it. But again, I now know that a big part of the reason for my fascination is all due to my autism, and cannabis is my medicine for that. And so I've literally just gone my entire life using cannabis and plant medicine as a connection point, and that's really it. And then, and I use, so, people have put out cannabis decks. I'm writing my own cannabis oracle and my own cannabis tarot deck right now. That's been in process for several years. But I use cannabis decks, for cannabis readings. And
And
it
a
all kind of
cannabis
varies.
deck. So tell us what a cannabis deck is. A cannabis deck is a tarot card that's specifically tailored to. Well, why don't you show us?
Yes. So, like, this is an example of a deck. This one is called the Metaphysical Cannabis Oracle. And
Okay.
so,
Pull that
this
more
is a
towards
deck
this.
that
Abby, pull that more towards the center of your face in this shot. Yeah, there you go.
right there.
There you go. Nice. Okay, that's cool. Really,
Perfect.
really cool.
Yeah. So this is more like an oracle. Oracle is different than tarot. The way that I explain the difference is tarot is based on the 78 Rider Waite, it's like based on the Rider Waite, the 78, there's major and minor arcana. And they have specific definitions as to what they represent in the tarot. Now, Oracle is different because Oracle, you can create the cards. They're like their designs, pictures. They talk about different things. There's a big dab right there, concentrate.
Oh
This
yeah.
one specifically, um, I'm just trying to see some of these. There's this one specifically not only talks about different forms of cannabis, but also different spiritual belief systems around the world regarding cannabis. So it goes back to ancestors and things like that. But with Oracle, you can create Oracle and make it define anything that you want. It can deliver any kind of message based on the card, and it's a lot more like tarot is like this is what it's going to be, but Oracle's like, oh, there, everything's going to be fine. So Oracle kind of gives you like a broader, more softer kind of idea of whatever it is that we're talking about or whatever we're trying to look for as far as
Mm-hmm.
information and whatnot. Tarot is a lot more specific and gives you the tea, you know? That's the way that
Interesting.
I look at it.
So tarot's
Yeah.
it's a little bit more
In your
abrasive.
face.
Yeah, in your face. There you go.
Yes.
That's the better way to say
Yes.
it. In your face. There you go.
100%. So, and I incorporate in most of my readings. I mean, everywhere I go, I always have a tarot deck on me. Not everywhere I go, I have oracle, but it just kind of depends. And like, here's another example of a different kind of cannabis oracle. This one was gifted to me at MJ BizCon this past year, and it's called Cannabis is Medicine.
Okay.
And so this deck is a really cool little deck. It's 30 cards, and all it is affirmations. And so the affirmations, when you choose one, like for instance, this one says, I am valued, and it's a microdose. And so it says, take one puff from a vaporizer or joint or eat smaller fractions of an edible throughout the course of a day in order to maintain the minimal, optimal, steady state of cannabinoids in your body, but without over consuming your product. So what I really like about this deck is that not only is it giving you a message and an I am affirmation, which is, it's positive energy for a person, but it also gives you a little bit of education on the plant, which I really like, being
Yeah,
able
it
to,
is
to do
interesting.
for my,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's a little bit more in depth and it gives you a little bit of idea as to why the suggestion was made, kind of as I saw it. Interesting.
Yeah.
I didn't even
And
know
of
this.
course,
I didn't know this existed, Abby. Now we're
I
getting
think,
into the
I
world of
know,
canastrology.
yeah, I know a lot of other readers that, are in the cannabis industry. I know a lot of readers that aren't in the cannabis industry, but they use cannabis, as part of their practice. And to be honest with you, and astrology, tarot, spirituality, it all falls, people call it witchcraft and all of that too. There's tons of witches that, use different herbs and plant medicines and whatnot, and cannabis is a big part of it. So it's just been really interesting to see all the different corners, of how astrology, tarot, and cannabis kind of, reach, touch, and the people that they bring in from it.
Yeah, that's kind of interesting along the lines in the industry everywhere. I mean, the cannabis industry
Yeah.
being such an infancy of an industry, the fact is people act different, they operate different in this business, and so you really can
Oh, big time.
genuinely gain and form some valuable relationships. People aren't, you know, they're just not as full of themselves as you would see in other industries. And so the access to these people and their willingness to want to work together is pretty amazing. And I'm sure you see that as well.
And honestly, I feel like because you asked earlier, about cannabis and spirituality, and the people that use cannabis in the industry, I see them as much more open-minded anyway. As far back as like Woodstock, right? It was all peace, love, and all of that,
Yep.
and
Peace and love.
it's kind of like that. So cannabis, as we all know, helps fulfill our endocannabinoid system, helps keep our, our receptors and whatnot active and healthy. But what that does for us is makes our body function the way that it needs to. And with that, that helps us focus and wake up and, open up our minds to different types of people, personalities, perspectives, all, with everybody that is in our industry. Um, as we all know, when you use cannabis, it's just like things are a lot more chill because we seem to want to listen to each other a lot more than just talking over each other and, blowing each other over with our egos, just like you said. So I have found, cannabis myself to be an extremely spiritual, tool. And, I think that there's a warm reception when it comes to the spirituality side of it, from the community.
Yeah, and that's well said. Well said, Abby. So just so when we talk about the use of cannabis and how you became to the point where you understood how it helped you,
Yeah.
does it involve, like, if you're doing a reading on me and I'm at your office or your studio or wherever you do these, are we smoking weed together? Like, I'm just trying to understand how, that part works. Or is it just more in theory?
No, it's a little bit of both, because I read for people who don't even use cannabis as well, so that it's totally their option. If they want to use it, absolutely. If they don't want to use it, they don't need to. Am I going to use it? 100%, because it's part of me, it's who I am. And again, that's how I connect with spirit. Do I use cannabis or plant medicine every single time I do a reading? No. It kind of depends when spirit's calling me, when I have scheduled readings, how myself, my body, my system is feeling. I know when I need it. But as far as like being able to sit down and sesh with somebody who is getting a reading from me, I'm always open to it. It's really interesting. I've even been hired and called upon to do readings for people who have never used cannabis before, and they wanted me to be there to teach them, which I found really interesting because we've got bud tenders, we've got all the people to educate, all day long about, this is what it is. This is how you use it. These are the
Mm-hmm.
great things about it. But we don't have anybody that says, this is how you hold it. And then you light it like this and you suck in like this. And you make sure to exhale before and actually physically teach them how to do this. Unless you're in a place like Las Vegas that has lounges where you're able to go and experience after you've purchased, you're relying on good old ingenuity or your friends, learning how to use all these crazy contraptions, dab rigs, and all the things that are out there for us to consume. So I've been hired now I come in and they have to supply their own medicine, of course, but I come in and I'll have, a bong, or I will have, a little mini badger and for their dabs if they use dabs or whatever. But I teach them literally like how to use these tools, like how to take a bong rip, like how to pack a cone. I've literally had to do this. I've literally done this.
No, I
And I
love this
will tell
because it's
you,
more than just a reading. You're going to get an education here, guys. If you don't know
uh,
how to do certain things, she's going to show you. I have a feeling too.
yeah,
If I showed up and I forgot my weed, you'd probably come through a little bit,
I
right?
mean,
Yeah. All right.
I always make sure I've got something on me, right?
I know. I
But
know.
that said, it really is an honor to be able to not only read for them and connect with them in spirit, but also be able to, introduce them into the world of plant medicine, how to use it responsibly, how to use it effectively, all the tools, that you can use it with. And then the best part about that is that I'm representing the brands and the companies of the products of the things that I use and love, and I get to work with those companies. And so those become some of my sponsors, and I help promote their products and things like that as an influencer.
Mm-hmm.
But it delights me to be able to do that because again, for me, it's just spreading education and helping others.
That's awesome, Abby. So I think I've got somebody that you're going to connect with really well. But I'll tell you what we have
Okay.
to do. We're going to take a commercial real quick here. When we come back, I'm going to introduce you to a friend of mine, and we're going to do a reading on this person. So I'm super excited. I can't wait to see how this works out. We also have a clip from your show. So we're going to play that as well, and then we can talk about a few things after that. So we'll be back right after this.
So many dispensaries have resorted to a bland, impersonal shopping experience, where you often don't even get to see a sample of the cannabis you're planning on purchasing before you buy it. If you're looking for that extra personal touch, come check out High Roller Dispensary in Atlantic City, New Jersey. Our staff are avid cannabis connoisseurs who are sure to help you find the strains that fit you best. Whether you're looking for premium flower, edibles, concentrates, or tinctures, we have you covered with over 100 different strains to choose from, all of which are able to be seen, smelled, and thoroughly examined in our elegant showroom. If you're in a rush, we offer a seamless online ordering system that allows for in-depth exploration of all that we have to offer. So whether you're a novice or a seasoned stoner, be sure to stop by High Roller Dispensary and we'll make sure you're floating on cloud 9 by the time you leave.
is huge.
Hey, I'm OG Ganja Goddess, and you're watching Cough Country TV. Peace.
This is Chef Marvin Jane, and you're watching Cough Country TV, live from New York.
Right around here, 15 inches, maybe if you're younger, you go up to 19 inches, you know. Yeah, you know, you already went the biggest.
Sometimes a CIO might make commitments to a CEO that they just can't fulfill. And it's very hard to succeed in those environments. You really want to be able to set the expectation right up front.
How would you feel with no sex, no weed for a month or two? I'm going to be really angry.
Just feel sorry for Jake.
Yeah, Jake's going to get fucked up.
Wow, this is
Phil. Yeah, for it.
This is all you. This is the Cough Country OG pink hoodie.
In terms of marijuana, I think it should happen.
All right, and we are back. Abi Wright, she is a cannastrologer, and she is telling us today about what cannastrology is, how it works, and why you should be involved in cannastrology. So, Abi, you gave us a wonderful offer, and I knew that we needed to do something very special with this offer. So allow me to introduce to the show a good friend of mine. His name is Josh. You can call him Joshua. I call him Joshua sometimes. And Josh, yep, there he is. Good looking guy. He is ready to receive a reading from you.
All right. Very nice to meet you, Josh. Is this
Good to meet
your
you too.
first time having a, thank you. Is this your first time having a reading done?
It is.
Excellent. The honor is all mine. I love first timers. They're my favorite.
Yeah, actually the honor is
then I get
mine, to be honest with you guys. I'm sorry, I'll be quiet.
Okay. Allow me to please begin. I'm calling in all spirits for peace, power, protection, and prosperity for the greater good for Josh, please. And surround myself with light. I love it.
I just had to add
I love
that.
it. All right, what do we have for Josh? Josh, if there is anything specific that you're looking as far as answers, I want you to focus and concentrate on what that is. Otherwise, I'm going to be pulling your general energy and just the messages that Spirit want you to know, okay?
Okay.
All right. So we're starting with the metaphysical cannabis oracle that we were talking about earlier. And so underneath the deck, this is, it's the card of Osupa. Oh, there we go. And so if you'll notice, there's the dark and then the light. And so, but the card actually means vision, and it's balancing light and dark energies. It's balancing good and bad. It's balancing, it's balancing the good and the bad, the light and the dark, the yin and the yang, if you will, of your world, in order to help clarify like what it is in your vision, what it is that you visualize, what it is, like your goals, your aspirations, your dreams, right? Now, this is just bottom of the deck energy. It's the energy going into the actual message. But what this has to do with is a big part of what your vision is. I'm feeling like it's like in work, in the industry itself, potentially even, or just like what you do, how you're tapped into. This is funny because I actually I showed this card earlier. So this is the big fat dab. Here we go.
Yeah.
This is the big fat dab. And so this is the equalizer, and it stands for your highest self. So where I was sitting here talking about this card being your vision, and being and more like being a balance. This is talking about, balancing it for your high. I'm so sorry about the angles here. Balancing it for your highest vision. This is actually a very spiritual message. I feel like you've got a greater, how do I want to word this? What I'm trying to say is, you've got a great vision for what it is that you're doing, where you're headed, what it is that you want to still see done in your life, your world. And I really am feeling strongly like your line of work. And Spirit is telling me, with this being the main message, that number one, you may like dabs. So concentrates is always a good form of medication, but also your highest self, like Spirit is telling you to tap into your highest self. You also may, by using dabs, be able to reach that higher self, because we all know that dabs are one of the strongest forms of, ways to consume. But I want to see how this plays into the tarot. So let's pull some cards for you on that. What do we have for Josh, please? Josh.
Survey says.
Okay, the energy going into the reading is the Six of Swords. Now, this is Libra, Gemini, Aquarius energy. You could have or be that sign or have those signs somewhere strong in your chart. But what this is actually talking about, swords are all about communication. And this is a card of moving from like choppy waters, like miscommunication, just hard times, and moving on to calmer waters, calm times, being able to communicate easier with other people, with yourself. But this is just underlying energy. So now we're going to pull 3 cards as we go into Josh's reading. Okay. 2 more, please. Thank you.
We can't hear Josh. Josh, are you muted, or we got to unmute you on our end?
Yeah.
There you go. We got you. What'd you say?
I said, can we ask questions as you do this?
I want you to ask questions at the end where we can clarify, because I'm about to deliver this message, and then you can ask all the questions you want, and then I can potentially clarify beyond that. The first card that popped up is the Queen of Cups. So when I read general energy messages like this, it's like 3 cards. So I do past, present, future type of energy. In the past, you could have been dealing with the Queen of Cups energy. This is Scorpio, Cancer, Pisces. They don't have to be a Scorpio, Cancer, Pisces. They could just have that energy somewhere in their chart. But this is the energy of it's typically a mother or a wife or a girlfriend or a feminine energy that's very loving, very caring, very trustworthy and loyal. This could be any kind of feminine energy in your world. Now, this also could represent your feminine qualities within yourself, because everybody has masculine and feminine qualities within them. It's just a matter of balance. But I feel really strongly this is probably somebody that you're dealing with. But again, this was in the past, maybe more recent past. Current energy, we've got the 8 of Wands. Now, Wands is an energy of passion. It could be passion towards what you're passionate about, work, career, business, finance, or passion projects. Or it could be passion towards a person, whether that's romantic or platonic. If it's romantic, then, it's obviously passion towards that person. If it's platonic, it's more like friendship. Now, this 8 of Wands is typically a card of messages coming in. So there could be either messages coming in from this person or you delivering messages to that person. Now, what's interesting is because we saw that highest self card too. And whenever I get this card, I always think messages from Spirit. So it's like downloads, getting the downloads. It's like you get a hunch or you get a thought and you just decide to go with it. That's your message from Spirit. That's like a download. It's somebody giving you a little tap on the shoulder, like, hey, do this, go that way. And that's what I'm saying right here.
Abby,
like,
I think he got that
cards
today. I think he got that today when I asked him to come on to do this reading. He got that little
right?
hunch.
There you go. Yeah. But this is like a message coming in from Spirit.
Yeah.
Oh, you literally tapped him on the shoulder?
In spirit.
Oh, okay. I was like, wait, what? But yeah, so I do feel like this is, like a tap on the shoulder from spirit, from your higher self. Or it has something to do with this Queen of Cups energy. Now, cups, again, they're all about emotions and feelings. So it also could be like the emotions and feelings of how you feel for a person or how they feel for you. And then what we have coming in is the Ace of Wands. This is one of my favorite cards. Aces are gifts from the universe.
Wow.
And
I'm sorry.
yeah, it's a gift from the universe. I thought that was you saying it, but no, this is a gift from the universe. And again, we're talking about passion. So this could be passion towards a person, or their passion towards you, or your passion towards what you're working for. But notice here,
bring it over a little bit.
Just like
pull it over a little bit. There you go.
Burning in her third eye. Okay, and that talks about waking up. It talks about opening up the third eye. It talks about a passionate new beginning. That is literally what this card is about, is a passionate new beginning, whether it's in work or a relationship. But what's interesting is, once again, we're talking about this being like a third eye. That's like your highest self. And it's also, when we're talking about eyes, vision. So it's like opening up your vision. I'm sorry, guys. Here we go. Opening up your vision.
Go full screen on Abby. Abby, you can hold those up again. We'll go full screen on you so everyone can see these cards. There we go. There we go.
There we go. So I do believe that this is like opening up your third eye. You're seeing a new vision from your highest self. It could potentially, the way that I'm looking at this, it could be a new relation, or not necessarily new, a relationship, or taking a relationship to a higher to a higher ascension, boyfriend to girlfriend, girlfriend to like fiance, or fiance to wife, or something like that, right? Or if it's not, romantic, it could be more like in business, taking a project to the next step because of the vision that you have, right? But this is something, you're getting a message of something, you're having some kind of like an awakening. And this all has to do with your higher self. Oh, okay. And then I wasn't even looking at bottom of the deck, so I already said it. I was feeling partnership, three of Pentacles. So this is about a partnership. Now, this again, we're talking Pentacles. Pentacles are money. Okay, so Pentacles are money, but this also, if it's a romantic partnership, it's something that's going to be beneficial for you. Otherwise, if it's like a work partnership, this is obviously it's going to be beneficial all around. Partnerships and work are about, right? But that's bottom of the deck. So that's what we were talking about. And this could be somebody that you've known for a long time, because we do have the Six of Cups underneath that. But you're also, I see a sense of just wanting to either protect yourself or their self. And it's a matter of just keeping yourself in alignment. And so that's what I have for the tarot portion of your reading. Now, if you'd like to ask questions or clarify.
Yeah, so there is a business relationship that is in progress right now, and I think you spoke to that. And the romantic relationship would just be with my wife. So let's just keep that clear here, because I don't want anybody hearing this or watching this and thinking that I'm just kidding.
So, you actually bring up a really good point, though, for people who are learning how to understand tarot readings. Because when I'm pulling these energies and I'm reading the cards, it's not just one set specific storyline. It's not one specific thing. And that's why I always tell people to take it as it resonates. So if it resonates that, just these first two cards are like you're getting a message from your wife, or you're sending your wife a message of some sort, right? That's what that means, right? But this Ace of Wands, also there could be some kind of passionate new beginning with your wife coming in. And that's, even though you've been together for a long time, it's like I was saying, this is like could potentially be like up leveling in your relationship some way, somehow coming together closer, having a, you know, a passionate night together, and it creating something else, right? Whatever that may be. But if
It's
you
that
are, you know,
is
if
what
you,
it is.
right. But, you know, again, underneath the deck, we are looking at a partnership here. Now, obviously, marriage is a partnership, right? But if you're also working on a partnership, I'm reading those cards where I see somebody trustworthy, loyal, you know, and I don't know if this person is a female or not, but again, it could be masculine energy, just somebody that is very caring, loyal. There
Now,
are messages that are.
can I ask a question? Would that masculine energy be like leveling out Josh's feminine energy that you mentioned?
That's something I would have to clarify further in the cards for me to honestly answer that.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Because
But
Phil
that
always
said,
tells me
though,
I have a lot of feminine.
I'll
and
tell
you
you,
might, you,
I do like the fact that Josh has feminine energy. I'm not gonna lie.
Baba Booey.
so Josh, I do want to ask you, what is your sun sign? Do you know?
Is that my birthday related?
What's your sign?
My sign?
If somebody asks when's
I'm a
your birthday?
Scorpio. I'm a Scorpio. November 7th.
So you're a water sign like me.
Mm-hmm.
That's what. So if this very well could be your feminine energies within you. Now here's another fun play on this, right? I'm a Scorpio as well, right? And so whenever Queen of Cups comes up, I'm like, oh, that's me. This message also could potentially be talking about me delivering you messages from spirit, which are going to bring you into a major awakening, passionate new beginning. And underneath the deck, we're looking at partnership here. So this is opening up your vision and bringing you to your highest self.
Yeah, it's telling a good story.
Wow.
We can look at it that way as well.
Yeah.
All
quick
positive.
Question for you.
And I try. Yep.
Whether we're doing this over video or in person, do you get a better sense in person, or do we lose something through this format? I'm just curious.
I don't think we lose anything from this format, but I will say that I do enjoy doing readings in person just because the energy is a lot stronger. But I have done readings for people like just video readings for people on the other side of the world and still delivered them extremely accurate messages. I will record. Right. And I record, messages for general collective, which, bring out accuracies and whatnot. But I mean, like, if you're asking me, do I prefer to do it live? Absolutely. Because then I can sit there and actually sesh with the person too.
Right.
I wish I had that I wish I had that Bill Riley sound where he goes, fuck it, don't write it, we'll do it live. I would have played that right there. That would have been it right there.
That would have been a good spot for it, right?
That would have been a great spot for it. Well, we learned a lot about Josh. We learned a lot about a reading and how these readings work, and they can go into great detail, it looks like. And when questions are asked, it digs you deeper into the whole process. So you guys can get an idea that this is sometimes not just a surface thing, but it can be quite in depth, right?
Yes. My readings can go extremely deep. It just depends on how many clarifiers, how many cards that I end up using, how much time that we have. So it's just and it also depends on, what it is that the person is looking for, how many questions they have, all of that.
Well, listen, the next time Josh is in Vegas, I'd like to pay for his trip over to see you, and then this way you can have him in the same room and get those vibes, and then report back to the show everything you know about him.
I love that.
Awesome.
We'll meet at New Woo dispensary at the lounge or something. That way we can sit there and sesh together.
Ooh.
All right. Well, thank you for doing this.
Yeah. Well, Josh.
Absolutely. Thank you for sharing your energy with me today, Josh.
Mm-hmm.
And me as well. And thanks for providing that feminine energy to us, Josh. I appreciate that very much so. I enjoyed it like you don't even understand. We'll be talking about that plenty some more. Well, listen, Josh, you're welcome to stay. But what we're going to do right now is I'll ask the control room, why don't you guys cue up a little part? We found a video on, on your channel, and we wanted to show everybody what that looks like. So you guys can go over and subscribe to Abi. So go full screen on that if you can go full screen over there. Yeah, and then just let it rip for a second and we'll see what Abi does.
Hi there. I'm the Cannastrologer. My name is Abi. I'm just lighting some Palo Santo here. Going to see if anybody clicks in. This was an unannounced live. I just decided that I was going to do it live. This is how I do most of my lives. I just decided I was going to do it. And it is of Mother's Day here in the States. So welcome back to the channel, all of my returning subscribers. If you haven't subscribed, make sure that you smash that button right now. Like and share. And welcome. I appreciate you guys being here. Okay, so like I said, this was a last minute decision. I just wanted to pop on because I did get the full moon readings for the month of May 2025. Did get those out, and so make sure that you go back and check those out. We are approaching the full moon, which is on the 12th. It's May 12th at 9:56 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time, at least where I'm at. And it's on a Monday, and it's the Scorpio full moon. It's also called the flower full moon for this time of year because it's when all the flowers are beginning to bloom in the springtime. And so this is also the time, of the year for Mother's Day. So I titled this reading, The Mother of All Readings. And it's really incredible because I did a couple Mother's Day readings. And by the way, I've got Mother's Day readings on a Mother's Day special that's running all the way through the end of May. And if you purchase a reading or any reading or multiple readings over $100, then you get a free 30-minute reading for yourself or another person or whatever. So cool deal going on to the end. And if you need any additional information or want to book, all of that information is in the description below this video.
All right.
So this is the Mother of All Readings for Mother's Day.
If we could. And yeah, I think Josh dropped off. Come back to the 2-shot if you could. There you go. And so, Abi, tell us about this whole moon thing? Like, how does that play into it? Because you seem to have a schedule there or some sort of reading of the month.
Yeah. So I am a huge fan of the moon cycles. And so at the end of every single year, I do a super long spread. It's about a 2, sometimes 3-hour spread. And where I predict the energy of surrounding every full moon of the upcoming year. So I look up the information of when those full moons, are going to hit. And I pull cards on what that energy is going to be like. We journal everything. And then as the year progresses, I go along throughout each reading and I go through, what we pulled, what we journaled for all of those predictions at the end of the year. And the way that they align with each one of the monthly readings is just insane. It's uncanny. But that's because that's what the general theme of each month kind of encompasses around each one of our signs.
Interesting.
And how it works and plays into those monthly messages.
That's really interesting.
It's a goal of mine. It's a goal of mine on my channel that, like if I get really busy in a month and I'm not able to put out like a lot of different readings, I will always make sure to put out the moon readings, the full moon readings, because I've already, pulled the energy around that at the end of the year. And so those are my main watched videos. But yeah, that's just one of them. It's always very cringy having to go back and watch myself because I don't normally do that. I'll usually post a video and just like, okay, it's up there, great.
I got you. And then never go back and look at it again. I got you. I understand that. Right. Sometimes going back and watch it takes a while before you can get comfortable with that. And I say a while, it can be a long while.
Oh yeah, especially some of my earlier ones. Oh my gosh, yeah.
So why don't we tell everybody how they would get a hold of you? So if they want to know more, they want to know you better, maybe they want a reading, they want to see your podcast, tell everybody how to find you and how to connect with you.
Great. Yes. First and foremost, you can find me at the Cannastrologer at YouTube or on YouTube. And then I'm also on IG as the Cannastrologer, Twitter, Facebook as well, even though I'm not as active as the Cannastrologer on Facebook, but I'm building that up a little more now. But if you can't find me as the Cannastrologer on any of the socials, you can also find me online as Abi Wright. And then all of my accounts are all connected in that way. Or you can also find me and book me at thecannabisbabes.com/the Cannastrologer. I've got my own page, my own tab, my own category on that site, and I'm doing some really cool things with the Cannabis Babes, where we'll be collaborating and stuff, and so that's why I'm kind of hosting all of my bookings off of her page. So.
Cool. And I look forward to the 12th where I get to meet her and learn more about her platform and what she's doing. I'm super excited about that as well.
I'm so excited for you to have her on the show. She's the best person in the world. I absolutely love her and her energy. And she's been one of my biggest supporters, since I've met her. So just a very special person. I'm excited that you get to connect with her.
And I'm looking forward to it. So thank you for those kind words as well. Well, I got to tell you, Abi, we do some of these interviews, and sometimes we learn more than others. I think this one, we all walked into this going, what is cannastrology and what is it all about? Right. And I think you helped us understand in good detail. And not only that, but, you showed a reading as well. We have a better idea of what it is you do and how you do it. And I certainly think that you bring a unique approach to this. And so one of the things that I know you agreed to is to stay for our late night show. But tonight there is no late night show. So what I'm going to do is, I'm sitting here. We're short people today. But what I'm going to do is invite you back for another late night show where you can come in, join the conversation, and perhaps we can tap into your talents once more and.
We could do another tarot reading or something. Maybe have people call in or something. Yeah,
and there's other people I got for you too. There's some other folks that I think would be an interesting read, as you guys say. So I just want to thank you again. So much, Abi, for joining me tonight. We enjoyed absolutely. We enjoyed having you a ton. If you guys. If you're new to the show, we have a lot of new subscribers in the last week or so. Thank you. Welcome to the show. If you guys are watching for the first time, please give us a like and subscribe. Tell a friend. And we'll see you next time. There's Z-Bud sleeping right here next to me. Abi, thank you. Oh, you guys will see Z-Bud in a second as soon as we go to the overhead shot. All right. We will see you guys on Thursday night. I believe we will be here for a late night show, 10 o'clock Thursday night. See you guys then. See you, Abi. Thank you, guys. Take care. Peace.
Bye.
See ya.